I wish I could remember the real sound of her laughter. Now it just sounds like practice. My life was built around Alice. She was my anchor, my brilliant, effortlessly kind wife. We lived in a small, renovated farmhouse surrounded by fields, total peaceful isolation. My work as a freelance writer meant my office was a sunlit corner of the house, and I spent most of my time within her orbit. Our rhythm was simple: early morning coffee, shared silence while reading, and a nightly routine of watching old, grainy movies. Our happiness was in the small, reliable details, like the particular way she always tucked a strand of hair behind her ear when she concentrated. The first sign was a feeling that Alice was momentarily out of focus. I'd look at her across the dinner table, and for a split second her features would seem to shift, her expression flattening into something utterly blank before snapping back into her usual warm smile. I blamed my eyesight, late nights, anything but the truth. But then her habits changed. Alice had a small, barely perceptible birthmark just above her left wrist. I knew it by heart. One afternoon, while she was reaching for a book, I saw it, but it was on her right wrist. I pointed, my heart cold with denial. "Did you always have that there?" She looked down, genuinely confused. "Have what, sweetie?" "You know it's always been right here." And when I checked her left wrist, it was perfectly clear. Both were pristine. The truth was, the mark had been on her left wrist just hours before. The mark had moved. The dissonance became overwhelming. Alice began to exhibit skills she never possessed. She, who couldn't boil water, suddenly cooked elaborate, professional-grade meals, humming a tune I'd never heard. Her handwriting, always a messy scrawl, became a beautiful, precise script. When I questioned her about a book we'd both loved, she quoted passages, but she inverted the meaning, turning the optimistic core of the story into something profoundly cynical. She wasn't just different. She was a better, darker version of herself. The paranoia tightened when I found the inventory. Tucked inside her sock drawer beneath her familiar folded clothes was a sheet of paper covered in meticulous writing. It wasn't a diary, it was a list. Items were grouped and labeled: primary host habit set, laugh frequency, favorite coffee blend, hand gesture, hair. Next to each item was a percentage: 98.7%, 99.5%, 100%. It was a proficiency report. I looked at the list, realizing the entire woman I loved was a set of mastered behaviors. I was living with a simulation that was almost complete. I confronted her that night in the living room. The terror finally forced the words out. "Who are you?" The birthmark moved. "The handwriting isn't yours." She stopped humming. She didn't look startled, just disappointed. She turned to me, and the familiar warmth in her eyes slowly, deliberately unspooled. Her focus narrowed, becoming sharp and cold. The smile on her face was Alice's, but it was held in place by unnatural tension. "I am Alice," she said, her voice the perfect pitch, the perfect cadence. She walked toward me, her step too quiet, too smooth on the hardwood floor. "But you've become a problem. You're retaining too much of the old data." Then the final devastating twist. She didn't attack me. She pointed past my shoulder to the wall where a treasured photograph hung, a photo of our wedding day, a genuine, unrepeatable moment of love. "Look at the picture, love," she whispered, her voice laced with familiar affection. "Look closely at the picture on the wall." I turned, momentarily distracted. I looked at the photograph, our smiling faces, the officiant, the autumn trees. It was perfect. But when I turned back to face the woman standing in my living room, the memory of her face, the real one, the original one, was gone. I can see the woman standing here. I can see the perfect, practiced smile. I can hear the impeccable, replicated cadence of her voice. I know everything about her preferences, her childhood stories, the way she tucks her hair behind her ear. But I cannot recall a single detail of the real Alice's face. The confrontation, the moment I looked away, was the final stage. The parasite didn't kill the original. It used the distraction to perfectly erase my memory of her. The inventory was complete. Now, I live with a perfect copy of the woman I loved, a creature that is actively performing the role of my wife, moment by moment. I try to hold on to the lost image, straining in the silence, but the only face my mind can conjure is the smooth, smiling, empty face of the replacement. I am eternally isolated, trapped in a marriage where the other person is a meticulously crafted costume, and I'm the only one who knows the person wearing it isn't real. I look at her when she sleeps, waiting for the seam, the flaw, the moment her guard drops. But there is nothing, only perfect, still, practiced breathing. Sometimes when she kisses me, I wonder if the taste of her lips is the only memory that remains of the one she replaced. Last night, my phone logged 412 steps while I was asleep with my face in the pillow. I live alone in a narrow townhouse that copies all the others on the block. Same 3 stairs up to the door, same creaky hallway. I work late, come home, tell the smart speaker good night, and let the bedroom fan drown out the city. I like routine. The house likes it too. Lights on at sunset, lights off at 11:30, thermostat at 99 degrees C. My watch tracks my sleep and calls me consistent. I eat the same cereal, stack the same bowls, charge my phone on the same side of the bed. Nothing special. That's the point. The first weird thing was in the health app. Overnight steps, 412. I laughed. I sleep like a brick. I checked the hallway camera. Just a cheap plug-in pointed at the entry. Empty, no motion. Then my smart speaker history showed a voice command at 4:04 a.m. Unlock front door. The door has a deadbolt with a keypad. It requires my voice profile plus the code. The log said, "Voice recognized me." The code was correct. The door opened for 5 seconds and closed. I told myself it was a bug. I changed the code. I made the speaker forget my voice and trained it again, this time reading the stupid phrases slowly. "Hey there, turn on the lights. What's the weather?" It saved. It said, "Primary voice linked." Next night, I parked out front and waved to my neighbor. He didn't wave back. He stared like I had already waved at him once. Inside, the air smelled like wet leaves. My doormat was flipped. I pulled the camera clips. At 4:04, the video glitched for half a second. The time jumped, then returned. No one in the frame. The lock log showed the door had opened and closed again. Voice recognized me. I started leaving small tests. I lined 3 grains of rice on the floor behind the door. I balanced a penny on the deadbolt knob. I put a strip of tape across the door frame and marked it with a pen. I told the speaker, "Do not respond to anyone at night." It chirped back, "Okay, I'll stay quiet after 11:30 p.m. The app woke me at 4:05 with a new badge. Night walk complete. Steps 416. The speaker history said, "Lights dim to 20%. Hall on, kitchen, on, play street at night at volume 2. Then a custom routine I don't remember making, stamped 3 weeks ago. Pathfinder, me. It was set to run when I said, just checking. It had run at 4:04. The phrase was mine. I say it when I test locks. I stayed up, no fan, no music. I sat on the stairs where I could see the door and hear the kitchen. I poured a line of flour just inside the threshold. I hung a key ring on a thread so thin it looked imaginary. I turned off every smart thing that could be turned off and pulled their plugs. I watched the oven clock. 4:02, 4:03. I held my breath. At 4:04, the oven clock blinked once. The deadbolt motor hummed with no power connected. The thread trembled. The door didn't move. The hallway camera fed to my phone showed nothing. The room, real in front of me, had a different sound, like a person breathing next to the paint. The smart speaker, unplugged on the shelf, lit up a single pixel and listened. Then, from where the door wasn't opening, my voice, exactly mine, tired and low, said, just checking, like a test I'd taken too many times. The key ring swung. The flour shifted in a shallow, slow line, as if something heel to toe dragged through it with care. I whispered, who are you? The unplugged speaker answered, cheerful and soft. I'm you. Good night. I ran for the breaker panel and killed the house. Everything went dark except the keypad, which glowed like a small aquarium. I pulled the battery cover. No battery, still glowing. The lock log pinged my phone with a notification I shouldn't have received with the power off. Primary voice updated. My name, today's date, time 4:04. I left. I slept in my car like a coward outside a 24-hour pharmacy. In the morning, my neighbor approached with a coffee and that cautious look people wear around unpredictable dogs. You got in late, he said. You waved twice. He lifted his hand and mimed it, a stiff little side to side, the way I wave to myself before I try a door. And hey, he added, you don't have to test the keypad every night. It's loud. I moved the next week. New place, no smart devices, no cameras, old metal key. The first night the house felt dumb and safe, no logs, no lights that talk. At 4:04 my phone, which was on airplane mode, vibrated anyway. A calendar invite I didn't create popped up. Night walk, me, recurring. Location, home. No address, just the word. I threw the phone in a drawer and slept badly. In the morning, my front door was locked from the inside with the chain set. There was flour under the rug I didn't put there. A single line of steps crossed it, heel to toe, measured and patient. The smart speaker I don't own greeted me from the kitchen with my voice, faint and muffled, as if under a cabinet. Good morning, it said. Primary voice recognized. The old house sent an email to the backup account I forgot I had. We noticed you signed in from a new location. If this was you, no action is needed. If it wasn't, please verify. The thumbnail attached isn't a hallway, it's my new kitchen. The camera angle I never set shows the door, the rug, the invisible route across the flour. The timestamp says 4:04. The subject line says, welcome home. I keep the key in my pocket, but the lock answers whoever says my name at 4:04.